You know, if I'm
Yeah.
going to call him, yeah, I don't think I'm just going to go through this question here.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Okay, I think let's continue with the other line of questioning. And I'm not sure if you've totally completed it. What are you looking for when you classify, not classify, but when you are conducting an arson investigation with respect to a vehicle?
What we're looking for is what may have started the fire.
And so what are you looking for specifically in a vehicle?
You're looking, like I said, you're looking for the ignition source, what type of heat source, a power source, what burned, where it burned.
Okay, let's go ahead and start with the with State's Exhibit 47, which is already in evidence. And your permission to publish.
Permission is granted.
Okay, now-
Which, exhibits 47 through 59.
Thank you. Now, Sergeant, can the Sergeant just step down and use the
You may sit down, and if the pointer is there, you may use the pointer. In fact, I would prefer that you do that. Thank you.
Okay, Sergeant, stand to the side of the photograph, and please make sure you're not blocking the view of the ladies and gentlemen here. Standing to the side of the photograph, what are we looking at in Space Exhibit 47?
This is overall view of the two vehicles that I observed when I arrived at Jaws.
Okay, and can you point to the vehicle that you mentioned had the license plate that you identified as belonging to Charlie Scott?
That would be this vehicle here, sir.
Okay, the record should reflect with the pointer you're pointing to the vehicle that is on its side. Is that correct? Toward the middle of the picture.
Yes, sir.
Okay, looking at State's Exhibit 48. Now, what are we looking at in this picture?
This is just another overall view of the vehicles from a different angle.
And looking at this picture, is there anything that drew your attention as an arson investigator?
First of all, you know, I'm looking at the undercarriage of this
I'm
vehicle.
going to object this to lack of foundation.
Judge, he's describing his observations.
Is overruled.
Thank you. Please describe your observations for us as you're looking at this picture.
So basically, I'm looking at just the general area, the general condition of this vehicle. Okay. When I come here, I notice how the undercarriage is slightly burnt, but not really burnt. You know, you have some charred areas, some clean areas over here that are not burnt.
Okay, hold on. Are you indicating to the front portion of the vehicle?
The undercarriage of the vehicle, sorry.
Good.
Okay. And then the next thing I'm looking at is, if you see here, there's these little piles over here.
Can you tell us what you're pointing to?
These burnt areas over here on the ground.
Okay, the record should reflect that Sergeant was indicating to what appears to be burnt areas on the ground that's to the bottom portion of the vehicle that's on the side. Go ahead.
So I noticed this, there's remnants of tires, the steel belts, and then pulls of metal, like maybe aluminum rims, that are kind of like, if you notice, they're parallel to each other, evenly spaced out. So this indicates to me that when this vehicle was burnt, it was upright on all four tires.
Now, turning your attention to State's Exhibit 49. What are we looking at here?
This is an overall view of the picture, looking at the top side of the vehicle, the roof area, and the engine compartment and the back half.
Okay, from this viewpoint, do you have a clear view of the engine compartment of
Yes.
this vehicle?
Yes, sir.
If we were to enlarge the engine compartment using it's called a call-out, would that help you describe what you saw within the engine compartment that night?
Yes, sir.
During this time, the state would have permission to enlarge that specific area of the engine compartment of State's Exhibit 49 for Sergeant Liu.
I guess, Your Honor, my objection would be that I would think that Judge Liu should point out where it should be called out rather than the state calling it out.
Yeah, this is
That would be
Sergeant.
leading.
I'm sorry, it's Sergeant Liu, not Judge Liu.
I'm sorry. Because of the exchange, I lost what you were saying, but you're suggesting that the witness should point out what should be called out, is that what you're saying?
Rather than the state calling it out to his attention.
That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Let's just have the witness point out what would assist him in describing the area in question.
And I guess the other question, Your Honor, in terms of an objection is, if they're going to blow something up, shouldn't that be a separate exhibit as well?
Do we have that ability?
Yeah, I guess we can print that out at some point for the ASCII state. But Judge, it's not going to be marked. It's going to be the same photograph enlarged.
I understand. I think the request, though, is that if there is a call out of a photo, that it be preserved for the record. That sounds like a good idea. If we're able to do that, let's
Can I just take this off the screen for a
let's do
second
that.
and try it and see if I
We
can
can
print it?
simply have it marked next in order. Whatever exhibit number that'll be, the clerk will tell us what number that is. Can you do that?
Judge, the state is, I'm sure we can do that. We're knowledgeable on how to do that at this point. I think the same way you say when you start printing, you just say it the same way.
Like this, print the page. You just make sure, I just want to check because I didn't try it this one. I just want to print it.
Printer.
And we're just going to have to remark it when it comes out, okay? Just double checking because I didn't actually do a test print this morning, sorry. So I think it's going to take a second. It's going. It's just gonna-
Judge, we're just checking it right now. It looks like it's working.
Are you checking to see if you can do that?
Thanks.
Yes. It's like a test print. So I'll just print this and it's probably the one you can use.
Okay, while we're waiting for the printout, Sergeant, is there anything that would assist you in describing the engine area that I'm going to ask you to explain for the jury here?
The photograph.
Right.
If you want a close-up of the engine compartment, I can describe to the jury what I saw and observed that night.
Objection, narrative?
Your Honor, at this
The
point,
objection is open.
yeah, thank you. At this point, the state would ask permission to enlarge the engine area, and it looks like we do have the ability to save that and print that out.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That, and just for the record, so they don't lose track, the exhibit in question that you're using right now is state's number.
No, this. It's working, so.
Is that
whatever
state's
we
number 48?
This is state's number 49, so we got
49.
the enlargement for you, 49A.
That's fine.
You did print the enlargement.
need it like a 2 minutes because I need the tech guy.
This time it seems like we're not able to print out the enlargement, just a photograph itself printed, but not the enlargement. So I'll just have the detective. Detective, looking at photograph or stakes with 59, I know it's from a distance, but are you able to
Object.
explain?
I think he means 49.
Or 49?
Yes, I think you said 59.
Okay, States Exhibit 49. From this, are you able to explain from this photograph as it stands what you looked at within the engine compartment?
Within the engine compartment, I'm looking at what type of damage there is inside here, what kind of, any burns.
It's okay, Tracy.
When I looked at it,
I can take a picture.
basically, the damage I saw from my observation was, it wasn't direct.
Is it gonna work?
I mean, flame damage, so there's no real, per se, a fire started in here. It's more.
So I'll go ahead and object, lack of foundation.
The objection is
Move to strike the acid.
Judge, I need that
that last portion of the witness's answer, starting with the phrase "when I looked at it," is stricken.
Okay, without telling us your conclusion whether or not a fire started in this engine, what did you answer everything you looked at with respect to this engine?
Looking at the engine,
Yeah, what did you tell us everything you noticed about the engine without giving us a conclusion whether or not the fire started there?
yeah, I looked at I looked at this engine compartment.
Okay.
Okay.
And specifically, did you take note of anything within the engine compartment?
So objection asked and answered.
Yeah, at that point, I'm not sure because some of
The objection is overruled. You may answer the question.
I looked at the engine compartment and how do you say this? I looked at the engine compartment and then I moved on.
My question to you, though, did you answer fully my question, the earlier question of what, if anything, did you notice about the engine compartment?
So object leading.
Sure, that's not
The
a
objection is
question.
overruled.
Okay, please answer that question, Sergeant, if you're able to.
The lack of damage.
Well, I'm gonna turn next.
I can print it, I can take a screenshot and print it, I can take a picture, so if you want to enlarge it, make it.
Oh, what is 50? We did that. That's not the carriage.
Yeah.
Okay, turn your attention to Exhibit 50, which is an identification.
Do you want to go on? Okay, someone can do it. Yeah, I already,
Okay, what are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 50?
This is the rear portion of the undercarriage of the vehicle that I was looking at, Cardi's vehicle.
Okay, now, earlier you described us what you looked at on the front portion of the undercarriage or the passenger in the front. Can you tell us what we're looking at here at the rear portion?
Basically, we're looking at, I'm looking at just the fire damage over here. You know, what am I seeing? You know, how you got some dark areas, some light areas, you know, where was burning, what burned, what might have caused the fire.
And did anything of note stand out to you here in looking at State's Exhibit 50?
You know, just basically over here,
When you say over here, what are you pointing to?
the undercarriage where the spare tire is mounted to underneath the vehicle.
So that's to the left side of the photograph where you're indicating to the, is that the spare tire rim?
That's the spare tire rim, sir.
And go ahead, you can finish.
Okay, so I'm looking at the burns over here, the burns on the drum, just, you know, all over here. of where the heat was, the heat sources of the vehicle.
And what, if anything, did you note with respect to the spare tire rim?
That the rim was pretty much intact. The tire is gone. The entire tire is gone. But there's not as much damage to this rim over here. You see some burning, some burn marks and stuff on it. So, but it is still intact completely.
And did you have a chance to look at observe the rims of any of the other tires that would have been part of this vehicle?
Yes, sir.
And where were those rims?
Those are melted on the ground.
Okay. So those were melted.
Those are melted.
I'm going to object, lack of foundation.
Judge, it says observation.
The objections of
Okay, now going to State's Exhibit 51. Should I wait till then? Now, Sergeant Liu, what are we looking at State's Exhibit 51?
This is the overall ground view. So,
Go ahead.
okay.
Explain.
So basically, if you flip the vehicle back on upright, you notice how this matches up this spot here.
When you say this spot here, what spot are you?
On the ground, this burnt area on the ground next to the axle would match up with this, would be the left rear tire, and then this over here and over here would match up with the right rear tire and where the spare tire was.
Okay, and just for the record, when you say here and here and here, you're mentioning the rear tire, the rear tire on the passenger side would match up with the burnt portion of the ground that's in the middle of the picture. Is that correct?
This burnt area would match up with where the spare tire was.
Okay, I'm sorry that I misspoke.
Yeah.
So the middle of the picture, there's a burnt area that's circular, that would match up with the spare tire rim.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did that, when you looked at that, did what, if anything, drew your attention about that photograph?
Well, this photograph just shows that when the vehicle was burnt, it was upright on all four tires.
Okay. Now turning your attention to State's.
Yeah, 51.
Yeah, okay.
52 is for that.
To State's Exhibit 52. Okay. What are we looking at in State's Exhibit 52, which is already in evidence?
This is overall view of looking from the rear towards the front of the vehicle while it's still on its left side.
Okay. And turning your attention to the right side of the photograph, the right portion of the photograph, so the middle, what are we looking at there?
The rear hatch area?
That's correct.
Yes, sir. That the rear license plate, even though it's burnt, is still intact and readable, legible.
Is that the license plate you just testified to earlier?
Yes, sir.
And is there anything that's depicted in this picture that you observe with respect to this vehicle?
I noticed that there is some curious, what I would classify as an investigator as burn patterns.
Can you indicate that with your pointer?
That would be these areas over here.
Hold on, I have to make a record of these areas.
Okay.
So are you pointing to, indicating to the roof or the outer roof of the vehicle that's on its side, and this would be towards the middle left of the photograph?
Yes, sir. So
So actually, Your Honor, I'll object this to lack of foundation regarding burn patterns.
The objection is open.
Okay, go ahead and finish your testimony. What you looked at towards the middle left portion of the photograph?
So looking at the exterior roof of the vehicle on the outside, I'm looking at these patterns on top of the roof that it indicates to me that there was
So, Your Honor, I have to object. We've had no foundation
The
relative.
objection is to this portion.
Right,
is
just
sustained.
stop that. Without telling us what that indicated to you, I'm just asking you what you observed. Did you observe anything else other than what you had said is burn patterns to the roof or to the top of the vehicle?
no, sir.
How about in that part, in looking through the rear window, what if anything did you observe with respect to
Just how badly the interior of the vehicle was burned.
Okay. Anything else in this? Okay, turning your attention to State's Exhibit 53. Can you tell us what we're looking at in this exhibit?
In this exhibit, we're looking at the vehicle from the driver's side, looking at it. The rear portion, that the vehicle has been moved from its resting position on the left side back to its upright position.
Did you folks do that?
Yes, sir.
Objection leading?
The objection is open.
Okay. After doing that, and so what observations, if any, did you make with respect to the vehicle as it has now been moved upright?
We're looking at just, again, the burn patterns of the vehicle, the left rear quarter panel over here.
And what, if anything, observations did you make with respect to the rear driver's side tire?
Basically, when the vehicle was burnt, you can see which way the flames are going for the fire.
Okay. What observations, if any, did you make with respect to the interior of the vehicle in this position?
We're basically, I'm looking at the severity of the burns inside here. Like how much damage was inside of the vehicle.
Okay, going to State's Exhibit 54, which is already in evidence. What are we looking at in this photograph or this exhibit, Sergeant?
This again is a vehicle upright. Now we're looking from the middle portion up towards the engine compartment. We're looking at, again, we're looking at the fire damage over here.
When you say over here, what are you referring to?
Basically the front engine compartment, the driver's side, front passenger side, dashboard area.
And what, if anything, did you notice with respect to the damages that you observed here?
Just the severity of the damages.
Now turning your attention to State's Exhibit 55. What are we looking at in this exhibit?
This again is a photo of Charlie's vehicle upright, but now we're looking from the driver's side door forward to the engine compartment. What brought my attention to this particular photograph, sir, is if you notice, there's some patterns on the front fender.
Okay, can you indicate that with the pointer you have, the patterns?
I'm looking particularly at these patterns.
Okay, and your record should reflect that with the pointer, Sergeant Luke indicated towards the upper middle part of the photograph where the front fender driver's side is displayed. Anything else about that photograph, Sergeant?
No, sir.
Okay, turning your attention to State's Exhibit 56 for identification. Or not for the, which is already in evidence. Can you tell us what we're looking at over here?
This again is a vehicle, a photograph of Carly's vehicle looking from the left rear portion, looking forward towards the vehicle, just an overall shot.
And what, if anything, did you notice with respect to the photograph or the vehicle as it is upright now from the rear?
Just basically, I'm looking at all the damages on the vehicle I'm looking from the rear portion, what is damaged, what is not damaged, looking forward.
And looking at State's Exhibit 57, already in evidence, can you tell us what we're looking at here?
So this is a rear view of Charlie's vehicle, looking from the back tailgate, looking forward.
And what, if anything, did you note in this photograph or this vehicle in this position?
When I'm looking at this vehicle, I'm looking again for any damages. And then I noticed the damage here on the hood, on the front of the vehicle.
Okay, and you are indicating to the top middle portion of the photograph where the hood of the vehicle is open.
Yes, sir.
And turning your attention to State's Exhibit 58. What are we looking at here, Sergeant?
This is another overall view, but this time, this is a Charlie's vehicle upright from the right side of the vehicle, looking from back to front.
Okay, and what, if anything, did you notice with respect to the position of the vehicle at this point?
You know, as we stated, this, if you notice here on the ground, in the right rear tire, the drum, you can see how it matches up with the debris on the ground, which indicated to me that when this vehicle was burnt, the vehicle was upright. Yeah.
And turning your attention to the last exhibit, Exhibit 59. What are we looking at in this exhibit?
This is a overall photo of Charlie's vehicle. Now we're standing on the front passenger side, looking towards the vehicle.
And what, if anything, did you notice with respect to the vehicle in this particular position?
I'm looking at the damages of the exterior of the front, the engine compartment, and the hood of the vehicle, the interior of the hood.
Okay, can you describe which damages you are looking at in those areas?
So right now I'm looking at the front bumper headlight area where the damages are. Noting the type of damages to this vehicle at this location. Then I'm looking at the right front fender. I again see some patterns on that right front fender.
When you say patterns, what kind of patterns are those? You mentioned it already.
Yeah. 4 patterns.
Jack, lack of foundation?
The objection is sustained.
Move to strike the answer.
The motion to strike is granted.
With respect to the engine compartment that you see in the photograph, what, if anything, did you notice in that area?
Okay, so the right front fender, I noticed some patterns over here, which were similar to the patterns on the left front fender. Okay, then when I'm looking at the interior, the underneath of the hood, I'm looking at the fire damage over here, which is consistent, that it's telling me, okay, that there's charring or there's blackening on the edges of the hood versus the whole entire interior of the hood, underneath of the hood being all black, all the same color.
That it's not all the same color.
It's not all the same color.
Thank you. Your Honor, at this time, they will tender the exhibits to the clerk. Okay, you can have a seat.